dedicated to each and every one of you who appreciate a great glass of wine. You know what I mean?
It's Monday. Let's raise a glass to the beginning of another week. It's time to unscrew, uncork, or saber a bottle. And let's begin exploring the wine glass. Today, we return to Winephabet Street and we're diving into the letter U with Usakhelauri, a rare and fascinating grape from the country of Georgia. Known for its semi-sweet charm and limited production, Usakhelauri is truly a hidden gem of the wine world. Joining me as our special guest is Lado Kublashvili, an expert winemaker from Winery Khareba. He'll guide us through the history, cultivation, and magic of this native Georgian grape while shedding light on Georgia's ancient winemaking traditions, home of the cradle of viticulture. So grab a glass, get cozy, and let's explore the unique story of Usakhelauri together. While you're listening, it would be greatly appreciated if you could take 1 minute to subscribe, rate, and review. It only takes a few seconds of your time, but means so much to the show. Also, please be sure to check that box for automatic download so that new episodes of Exploring the Wine Glass show up in your next up feed. The next best way to support Exploring the Wine Glass is to tell your friends. If you enjoy the podcast, your wine-loving friends will too. Follow me on all the socials, and finally, don't forget to head to the website, exploringthewineglass.com, to read the blog, sign up for the newsletter, and keep up on all happenings. Slancha! Hey everybody, I'm Lori Budd, a UC Davis winemaking program, Spanish wine scholar, sommelier service, champagne and Côte d'Aron specialist, and a WSET Level 2 graduate. You can find Exploring the Wine Glass on all the socials, as well as your favorite podcast catchers. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time to swipe, subscribe, rate, and review. Stay in the know about all things wine by visiting my website, exploringthewineglass.com. I promise I'll never tell you what to drink, but I'll always share what's in my glass. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Winephabet Street. And sadly, I am still in California, and Deb is still in New Jersey. But we are remotely traveling to the country of Georgia to bring you Winephabet Street this day. And I'm really not sure how to say the grape variety. So I'm going to make fun of myself. Usakhelauri? Am I at least
That's
close?
Right.
Oh, I am jamming today. All right.
You are in the middle.
Well, welcome. So, Deb, you want to do your intro?
Sure. I'm Debbie Giaquindo. I'm known as the Hudson Valley Wine Goddess. I'm a certified specialist of wine, a wine location specialist in Port and Champaign, a certified cherry wine specialist, chairperson for the Hudson Valley Wine and Spirits Competition, and I am a partner in a restaurant in North Wildwood called Trio North Wildwood, and I think that's about it. That's all I can do.
Yes. And for those of you who do not know who I am Lori. My husband and I own Dracena Wines in Paso Robles, where we specialize in Cabernet Franc. On the other side of the game, I am Exploring the Wine Glass, where I am a Spanish wine scholar, a champagne specialist, a Côte d'Aron specialist, and wine educator. Just love wine, everything about it. And today, from Georgia, we have Lado Kublashvili, who is going to share his expertise with us on this grape. And we are so thankful to have you. So welcome.
Thank you very much for having me on. So my name is Lado Kublashvili. I am university graduated winemaker. I hold bachelor and master diplomas in enology, and I have been working as a chief winemaker, one of the biggest winery here in Georgia that is called Winery Khareba. And I'm very happy to share my expertise in Usakhelauri grape variety.
Thank you. And before we get into that wonderful grape, we have Elmo, right, Deb?
thank you again for having me. So today we are going to speak about Usakhelauri grapes, which is one of the indigenous Georgian grapes. In fact, here in Georgia, we have more than 500 indigenous grapes, but Usakhelauri is one of them. But before I speak about Usakhelauri, let me speak a bit about the country in general speaking, and also about the region of Lechumi, where Usakhelauri is the most common red grapes. Okay, so you see the kind of map of Georgia. So Georgia is situated between Black Sea and Caspian Sea. But why it is interesting in terms of viticulture and winemaking? Because this is one of the best area in the world to grow the grape wines. And why? Because it is protected from north part by Great Caucasus Mountain, and it is protected from cold wind. From the south, the country is protected by the Lesser Caucasus Range, and consequently it is protected by very high heat, let's say like that, heat wind. And the country also is divided by Lichi Range, okay? So you can imagine that Lichi Range divides this country mostly with two parts, the western part and the eastern part consequently. Later on, we will speak about it. So according to this geographical location, country enables to have the best terroirs to grow indigenous Georgian grapes in different parts of Georgia. So this is the map of, so it is wine growing region of Georgia, the special map for viticulture and winemaking. In different colors, you see the different wine growing regions of the country. Nowadays, in the country, we have 55,000 hectares, down from 150,000 hectares during Soviet Union times. Right now, we have 29 AOC, which is the protected areas of viticulture and winemaking. As I mentioned above, in the country we grow more than 500 grape varieties, but nowadays about 25 varieties are used in the industry. Whites are in majority, they count around 60%, where 40% are counted by red grapes. Production, so this year was historical year, let's say like that, because we reached in the country, we reached more than 300,000 tons of grapes. So this is one of the best vintage in terms of yield and quality in our country's history, if we compare the plantation of the vineyards. Consumption per capita in the country, we have 32 liters. When we are speaking about Georgia, of course, we have to speak about Qvevri vinification. So this is the picture. It depicts the head of Qvevri, and you see some skins above. So what it is Qvevri vinification? This is the method what we have been using in Georgia for 8,000 years already. So this is in our DNA to make the wines according to that method. It means that we, in general speaking, this is most distinguished method in white wine vinification. So we receive the grapes, we destem them, put into the clay jars. The clay jars are put into the ground. Once alcoholic fermentation is started, we punching down 3 or 4 times during the day. Once alcoholic fermentation will be finished, we seal the Qvevri like you see on the third picture, and we let the wine to have the long maceration from 4 to 6 months, depends the location, depends the region, or depends the decision of winemaker. So during this period, the wine can squeeze from the skins all best components, what we can have in the wine, like tannins, color pigments, aroma precursors. So at the end, once we take out the wines from Qvevris from long maceration period, we have the wine which has a very dark amber color, okay? And this method is recognized by UNESCO in 2013, and it is also promoted by Georgian Wine Agency or Georgian Wine Association in a very intense way. So this is kind of visiting card of Georgia when we are speaking about its viticulture and winemaking. And in the future, we can have one webinar mainly about Qvevri vinification or Qvevri wines in general speaking.
Can I ask a question?
So a bit, yes, please.
They're permanently in the ground? Or are you taking them out and putting them back?
Indeed. So, no. So once we put the clay jars here in Georgia, we call them qvevris, into the ground, they are there permanently.
Okay.
So if we take real good control about their hygiene, we can use them forever.
Okay. I was like, you can't keep bringing them up
So-
and down, up and down. That would be.
It would be very hard job. You know? A few words about the company where I work as a chief winemaker. So the company is called Winery Khareba. That was established in 1995. Nowadays, since the time the company was developed rapidly, nowadays we have 1,500 hectares around the country. Please don't imagine that this amount of vineyards are planted in one place or in one region. Not at all. Those vineyards are planted around the country. Almost in every viticulture and wine growing regions of Georgia. Of course, mostly our vineyards you can see in Kakheti region, which is the most famous wine growing region of Georgia, but not only. Our vineyards are planted in Imereti, Samegrelo, Raja, and Lechumi. The latter one is the region where Usakhelauri is being produced mostly, and we will speak about it later. Also, we have 4 wineries. We produce wines international way. Also, of course, we produce the wines by traditional way. Okay, so we are going closer to Usakhelauri grapes. So this is I think, one of the best picture of Lechumi wine region. So you can see the main view of the region. In the middle, you can see some terraces of the vineyards. Also, some vineyards are planted on the gentle slopes, let's say like that. A bit history of the region. So the region was first mentioned as Scripnia in foreign sources in the 6th century by Procopius Caserinis, a famous Roman diplomat and historian at that time. After that, the region was first mentioned as Lechumi in the 15th century. Okay, the Usakhelauri grapes, which is the most important red grapes of the region, was mentioned in the 18th century by Vahushti Bagrationi, a very famous and noble person in that time. So he was very famous historian in that period of Georgia. In the 18th century, according to official recordings, the farmers used to pay their needs with wines in bulk. So this information emphasizes how much importance the wine in general was for those people in that time. Okay, some important facts. So you can see the vineyards in the region from sea level from 350 to 650 meters. So as you might know, it is quite high. 650 meters. It's quite high for in this belt of viticulture for wine growing. Precipitation per year we have from 1,200 to 1,400. To be honest, the rainfall is quite well distributed in the season, but sometimes we have excess rainfall just before or during the harvest. The sum of active temperature can be fluctuated from 3,500 up to 3,700. Climate. This is very interesting because the region is surrounded by the rocky ridges, as you see in the picture. okay, creating a special microclimate characterized by humidity, moderately cold winters, and long, warm summers. Diversity of the soils. It is really diversified by loamy, clay calcareous, humus carbonated type of soils. In the region right now, we have two AOC. Later on, we will speak about it in detail. And also in the region, you can see the main white grape varieties as Usakhelauri. Also, Usakhelauri is being grown in different regions of Georgia, but of course, also you can find it in Lechumi region. And the main red grape variety is Usakhelauri, which is the topic of our today's meeting. Climate change. This is the very important or trendy topic we have to speak about. This is a very interesting slide. As a source, I used a book about climate analysis for modern Georgian viticulture. So you can see, just to compare, okay, so in west part of Europe, we see some changes of temperature increasement from 1987, as you see here, and in Georgia, it is happening from 1994. So if we compare the period between 1973 to 1994, and from 1994 to 2013, we can see that the temperature was increased with 1.4 grades Celsius. Okay? But to be honest, this is not so evident when we are speaking about the region of Lechumi, which is located in the northern part of Georgia. Okay, as you see here in green color. So here is the Black Sea. Here is the Imereti region, which is the second largest wine growing region of Georgia. But in green, you can see Lechumi region, which is in the north part of Georgia between the mountainous area. And some technical data as well. Later on, of course, it will be left on net, so some people can see it per their demand. Okay, Usakhelauri. Usakhelauri is, so in general speaking, Georgia's grapes are very rare if we are speaking about globally. Okay, but Usakhelauri is even rare. Okay, in Georgia, its plantation is just 42 hectares, which means its plantation in the world is just 42 hectares. But in the region of Lechumi, it is 34 hectares. Etymology, it is very interesting because the etymology of grape varieties is following. So the name is after the village Usakhelo. So you can imagine that in the region, we have some villages, and one of them is called Usakhelo. So according to some data, at the very first time, this grape variety was mentioned in that village of Usakhelo. Synonyms, Okureshuli. So if we speak about the synonyms, Okureshuli derived by the second most important village of Lechumi, which is called Okureshi. For instance, in our company's case, we have their vineyards of Usakhelauri grapes as well. And also, Okureshuli you can find in neighboring regions like Raja is, for instance. Okay, botanical characteristics. So this is quite interesting grape variety because we have some interesting characteristics of plant as Usakhelauri grape variety. So shoots are light brown while internodes are dark brown. Leaves are, so you can identify Usakhelauri very easily because their leaves are medium-sized. In most cases, they are divided into 3 parts, but sometimes they can be separated into 5. But it is very seldom, to be honest. In major cases, it is divided by 3 parts. The flower is self-pollination. As you know, in major cases, Vitis vinifera grapes are self-pollinated, and also Usakhelauri's flower also is self-pollinated. bunch. Okay, it has an average size, conical cylindrical shape, as you see in the picture. Berries is round and average sized from 1.5 to 1.7 centimeter with thin skin. So again, you should know that Usakhelauri grape variety contains color pigments only on its skins, okay? And since it has thin skins, if we need it to be a little bit colorful, we need to have more time on the skin contacts. And if we have and later on we will speak about it, if we have kind of short maceration, the wine could be light pomegranate in the color with very delicate texture or delicate tannins. Okay, it is yearly budding grape variety because of it has some difficulties in the spring because in the region we have frost sometimes, and since it is yearly budding, we should take it in our account when we are speaking about Usakhelauri grapes. It is quite late ripening, mostly when we are speaking about sweet wines, because for sweet wines we need more sugar, which means that we have to wait a little bit longer, and consequently it is quite late ripening grape variety. From bud BS to full ripeness, it needs around 180 days, which is quite long.
Yeah.
Okay, yield, the average yield or kind of good yield could be 6,000 kilograms per hectare, but later we will see that it is not easy job to reach such amount of grapes per hectare in the region. The rootstocks, okay, as you remember, I mentioned several types of soils what we can have in the region. Amongst is calcareous soil. So for those type of soils, the rootstocks such 3309 or 101/14 or even fertile are very suitable. Okay, in using those rootstocks, we can really have a good control of the soil in terms of phylloxera, but not only, with some elements as well, and also we could have good vegetation of grape variety of Usakhelauri, and at the end we could have good ripening.
Is it only made into sweet wines? Is it dry? Does it run a scale of dry, semi-dry?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. We can have different styles of Usakhelauri, like dry, semi-dry, semi-sweet. Sometimes even we can have rosé style wines, and later I will explain about it in details.
Okay.
But what I want to emphasize right now is that the Usakhelauri prone to some fungal disease like downy mildew or powdery mildew. So we really need, because in the region we have quite high humidity, and those disease like those fungal disease, like I mentioned, downy mildew or powdery mildew, can be controlled very strictly. Okay, in this case, Usakhelauri is not easy grape variety to be grown. Also, the region itself has some difficulties in terms of weather factors. As I mentioned above, we have in the early spring, we have frost, but sometimes 2 or 3 times per year we can experience the hail. Because of this reason, I decided to equip our vineyards with special type of nets. You see? So these vineyards is planted in Okureshi village, and those wines, as you see in the picture, it is protected by nets. Because in case if we experience the hail, the crop could be protected.
So with the concern of the weather, with the humidity, are you doing multiple like leaf pulls throughout?
Yes,
kind of
so you mean the aeration, right?
Yes.
Yes, sometimes we do apply that kind of green canopy management, but not only. Also, what we really take care about the soil management, because the evaporation just after rain can be done from the soil. Okay, so we always try the soil to be clean, the grass to be trimmed, okay, proper way, and we try to protect the vineyards in these methods. Okay, this is very interesting chapter. Okay, so canopy management techniques. So in major cases, if you go in the region, in major cases, you can see that the farmers or viticulturists apply cane pruned Goyo type or VCP canopy management. Okay, the vines can be made by single or double Goyo. Okay, it depends of the density of the vineyards. It depends of the choice of the viticulturist. But the second common canopy management techniques or trellising method is single stake. You see, so there is a single stakes, and the vines are tied on those single stake. Mostly. So that type of trellising systems you can find in the farmers' vineyards. But if you see mostly more this commercial based vineyards, you can have, of course, the first variant, what I have just shown you. This is the most rare in the region, though it is very popular in Unearthing region, for instance. We call it pergola. Okay, but this is the less common. Anyway, in some places you can find, in some villages or in some farmers' vineyards, you can have this kind of trellising systems as well. Very interesting. What do you think?
It's a lot
to
of
have this kind of different choices. Yes, please.
Well, with the humidity, it kind of does make sense. You know, you think of other regions that have to deal with the humidity, such as like Ria Spicious. They're doing the pergola to kind of
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, I mentioned the Unearthing region. One of the initial reasons why farmers decided to use the pergola in the past was that high humidity, also what we have in Unearthing region as well. So in Unearthing region, the pergola systems were used very frequently in the past. Also, you can see them more in Unearthing region comparing to other regions of Georgia. Okay, this is me in the picture. So we have to speak about the harvest. So if you remember above, I mentioned that in the region we have in the region of Lechumi we have around 34 hectares of the vineyards. Okay, but some of them are newly planted. Because of this, in 2022 we had around 75 tons. I mean, in the region total. In 2023 we had just 40 tons. I will repeat for you, 40 tons, because we experienced some hailstorms, some disease, and we had a very bad yield, very bad vintage in that year. But this year, as in other part of Georgia's viticulture regions, amongst Lechumi, we experienced quite good vintage, and we reached around 110 tons of Usakhelauri grapes. Of course, because in this type of vineyards, or because of the relief of the region, you can't use the harvesters, and all canopy managements, the harvest activities are done by hand, for sure, as you see in the picture. And we always keep the grapes into the small crates, and they are being transported using those small crates from vineyards into the wineries. The styles. When we are speaking about the styles made by Usakhelauri grape variety, we have different styles. So you can nowadays more and more, you can see the dry red wines, dry styles. Those wines can be made by classic way or can be made in Qvevri. Dry rosé wines are also quite new, but there are some good examples in the market of dry rosé wines made by Usakhelauri grapes. But the most, and following by natural semi-dry red wines, but the most common and the most popular style made by Usakhelauri grapes is natural semi-sweet red wines. Okay, so when we are speaking, at least per my knowledge, when we are speaking about Usakhelauri grapes, we always think that the wines made by Usakhelauri grapes can be or could be natural semi-sweet. So again, this is the most popular style made by Usakhelauri grapes.
What is the typical alcohol level?
Of course, it depends. Of course, it depends.
Oh, that's semi-sweet, yeah.
Yes, but in most cases, if we are speaking about natural semi-sweet red wines, the alcohol level could be from 11.5 to 12. Okay. 12 by volume, yes.
Is it a very acidic grape?
Yes, depends the vintage for sure. But in general speaking, it has quite high acidity. Yeah, because it has these capabilities to produce natural semi-sweet wine, so it can reach the quite high sugar level up to 26, but at the same time it doesn't lose the acidity. Okay, which is very interesting. So Usakhelauri in the winery, it is very technical, but we have to speak about it with a few words. So as I mentioned above, we have the different styles, but again, the most common style is natural semi-sweet red wine. So I will speak here how we make it in general speaking. So we receive the grapes, of course. We always protect the mesh from oxidation. We use the CO2 instead of gas or ice, it depends. Alcoholic fermentation could be controlled in terms of temperature, and the most favorable temperature, at least for me, is 24 degrees Celsius. Why? Because it is not, it is, let's say, low temperature if we are speaking about red vinification in general speaking. But why I use this level of temperature in alcoholic fermentation? Because I really want to preserve as much as I can primary aromas, of the grape variety. Though I can't reach the maybe good ratio of anthocyanins, because we know that anthocyanins can be squeezed. I mean, the color pigments can be squeezed at very high temperature. But anyway, I always count on grape varieties characteristics in terms of its primary aromas. So after alcoholic fermentation, I reckon the seeds during the alcoholic fermentation, because seeds can introduce some kind of harsh tannins. So I really want to avoid that type of green or harsh tannins in the wine. And once the wine the fermenting mesh reaches around 7% of brix, we start to cool down the temperature of alcoholic fermentation, and at the end we will press it out. Then we will keep the wine materials at -4, at least at -4 degrees Celsius, because we always try. I will show you some pictures. So this is the different tools what we use. This is the fermentation tanks. One of the most important thing when we are speaking in red vinification in general speaking, and of course in natural semi-sweet red vinification as well, the most important thing for me is to have the different choices of maceration. So I use the délestage method. You see the special type of tanks. Also, I use the pigeage method. Do you see there are pistons? Okay, so I use the pigeage method, and also I use the classic remontage method, which is also known as pumping over. So at the end, I have different, let's say the different wines. They are not real different, but at least they are different according to their vinification or maceration methods. And later on, I can have possibilities to play with blends to reach the highest quality. You see, this is the door. I really wanted to show you. This is the door of tank where we preserve the natural semi-sweet wine. So as you see, those type of tanks have double walls to keep the temperature easily. And when you open the front door, you can see that the door in behind is always frozen. Let's say like that.
And now, a word from our sponsor. Did you know that Dracena Wines has a wine club? We named it the Chalk Club. Draco is on our label, but Vegas was getting a bit jealous, so we decided he deserved to be our wine club spokesdog. In Las Vegas, betting chalk means that you are betting on all of the favorites, and we're gambling that once you taste our wines, we will become one of your favorite wineries. The club is simple, yet a bit different than most. We don't ask for a lot of commitment like others do. Choose between 3 tiers, the Sweet 16, where you will receive 3 bottles twice a year and get 15% off all orders. Sign up for the Elite 8 and get 20% off all orders and receive 4 bottles twice a year, or make it to the Final 4 and receive 6 bottles twice a year, as well as receiving 25% off purchases. All tiers receive discounted shipping, are customizable, and are eligible for unlimited referral bonuses. Add $15 to the bank for each person you refer. Head to www.dracenowines.com to use the link in the show notes to find out all the Chalk Club has to offer and to sign up. We've stocked the odds so that you can get our award-winning wines without breaking the bank.
Okay, how does it smell? How does it smell? So, in general speaking, Usakhelauri grapes could have like you can see in the picture, like the blackberry, blueberry, raspberry flavors. In most cases, these natural semi-sweet Usakhelauri wines can really preserve these primary aromas, and they are very tasty and easy drinking red wines, let's say like that. Okay, I'm pretty sure also you are interested in how it pairs with food. So again, we have different styles. Accordingly, we have to choose the different type of foods. For instance, when we are speaking about dry red styles, we really need to have a side, beef steak, roast lamb, game and barbecue. So in this type of foods, having this type of foods, we can really appreciate the dry styles of Usakhelauri wines. It is dramatically different when we are speaking about sweet red wine styles made by Usakhelauri grapes, where we need more dried fruits, nuts, almonds, cheeses are very good, fried pumpkins, as you see in the picture. Here is a pumpkin. Okay, and it can also go well with meats decorated with sweet sauces, like some meats and some cheeses. Okay, they are very tasty when we have this kind of foods next to Usakhelauri wines, sweet red wines in style. Okay, law. I have to speak about the law. So I have I made the screenshot from the law for you. So you can see here that in 2022, it was registered as Okureshis Usakhelauri, as a DOC wine. So Okureshis Usakhelauri from 2022 is protected viticulturist area. So from Okureshis, under Okureshis Usakhelauri, we can make dry, natural semi-dry or natural semi-sweet wines. But again, please have a look here. The most common style is natural semi-sweet, where we have the sugar level from 18 to 45 grams per liter. According to the law, the yield could be up to 10 tons, but believe me, it is really, really, really hard to reach Usakhelauri grapes, 10 tons per hectare in Lechumi region. Okay, business. So this is one of the most important chapter we have to speak about. Please don't think that I missed here 1-0. No. When we are speaking about export in 2022, the country sold just around 40,000 bottles on export. In 2023, around 7,500. And in 2024, we sold as a country more than 2,000 bottles, but in 7 months. So this is the data from 7 months, the first 7 months.
A lot.
But yes, it is very low. So it means that the window for wine lovers or potential wine importers is so big. The wine is very interesting. The wine can reach the hearts of real wine lovers. So there is a big opportunity to have these wines in any professional importer's portfolio later on to introduce these wines to their customers. But these numbers, for your information, is only for those wines what were registered as semi-sweet Usakhelauri in 0.75 liters. So the numbers, if we consider dry Usakhelauri or rosé Usakhelauri, could be a bit higher, but for your information, the picture is not changed dramatically, let's say like that. So more or less, we have the situation like this. The prices, when we are speaking about prices FCA or export prices, as you wish, we have big gap between the minimum possible price and maximum possible price. So it is from 16 to 35 USD dollar.
Okay.
That's not bad at all. I mean, to get something so rare and so unique.
Exactly.
$35 is nothing.
I follow you in that thinking. Exactly. Thank you. So so this is the picture behind of the region, how it looks now. So I took this picture and video for you yesterday. Okay.
Aww.
So I will switch on the video now for you. So this is the region. Sorry, this is the region. How it looks like now.
Wow.
Wow.
So
A bit chilly.
do you see the landscape?
Yeah.
And how charming it is. I love it.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very nice. Karen has a
And
question.
this is me, and now I'm ready to
okay.
answer you the questions.
Okay.
Okay, Karen has a question, and she said, what grape do you use to make their delicious sparkling wine?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What grape do you use to make your sparkling wine?
Okay. So, in most cases, we do sparkling wines in Imereti region and Kartli region as well. But Imereti region is more famous in terms of sparkling wine production. In Imereti region, we use tsitska. So this is the white grapes, indigenous white grapes of Imereti region. And when we are speaking about Kartli region, there can be used chinuri, for instance. So to answer your question, in Imereti region, the most prominent white grapes for sparkling wine production is tsitska, for instance.
And then do you know who the parents are? Is there DNA lineage for the Usakhelauri?
No.
No.
And why? Because at this moment, we don't have examinations, let's say like that, made by molecular genetic way, let's say like that, to identify the parents. For instance, I don't know the parents of Usakhelauri grapes, nor I don't know the parents of Tsitka grapes, for instance. So these kind of studies we have in the future to fulfill.
Okay. I had read that
yeah.
the Usakhelauri translate to nameless.
Exactly, it is translated as nameless, but etymology of the grape variety, as I mentioned above, is after Usakhelauri village.
Okay.
Okay. And yes.
Okay.
So you did give the flavor profile, but if somebody here wanted to kind of envision what it tasted like in terms of mouthfeel, the body, the finish, all of that, is there an international grape variety that you would say, well, it's kind of close to this?
Mm-hmm. You can't compare it exactly, but in general speaking, when we are speaking, for instance, about Usakhelauri grape variety, which is in dry style, okay, since it is not rich in color, it has delicate tannins, quite good acidity. We can compare it to Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir.
For instance, absolutely.
Is it
exactly?
Does it age well? The wine?
If yes, since we can say that in dry styles, Usakhelauri wines can be aged in, so it can be good shape after 8-10 years, okay. Because it has quite high acidity, so acidity helps, in general speaking, to be backbone of wine when we are speaking about aging. But in semi-sweet style wines, those type of wines can be considered to be consumed after between 3 to 5 years. Okay, let's say like that.
Mm-hmm. So they're a drink now.
Yes, and when, for instance, when I make Usakhelauri wines in sweet style, I always use those kind of tools, methods, or thinking that they could be consumed when they are young. Let's say like that.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And then can you just do the slide at the beginning where you talked about the region itself? That's wonderful. But how does somebody get to Georgia? Like where, are they,
Okay.
How long, like from the United States would be a typical flight? And then can they come to the winery and taste at the winery?
Exactly.
What can they
do? So in our company, to answer your question from the beginning, of course, we host wine lovers from your country, and the number of those people are being increased last time. Okay, so the flights can be found from New York to Munich, from New York to Istanbul. So in this case, the passengers should be changed their plane in Munich or in Paris or in Istanbul. So from main cities of Europe like Paris, Munich, Vienna, Istanbul, we have the direct flights to Tbilisi, which is the capital of Georgia. And from Tbilisi, it is very easy because the country is really small. And from the capital of Tbilisi, at first, you can enjoy the wine culture in the capital because we have the many wine bars and many wine restaurants. You can feel this wine culture in Tbilisi at first. After that, they can go to Kakheti region, which is the most famous wine region of Georgia. It takes around 2 hours to reach from Tbilisi to Kakheti. And also they can, from Tbilisi also, wine lovers can reach easily to Imereti region. Nowadays, because of newly made highway, it takes around 3 hours maximum. So the people can reach that region easily as well, yes. And in my company's case, we have, of course, in all wineries, what we have in our group, we have the activities to host the wine lovers, but I want to emphasize here that above all, we own in Georgia the largest touristic center, wine touristic center in Kakheti region, in Kvareli town. So it was built in 1959, okay, that's like that. And in total, it is the 8 kilometers under the mountain. So you can imagine, it is the 8 kilometers in length, and we call it wine cave, let's say like that. Per year, we host more than 80,000 wine lovers in that place only. 80,000 from around the world.
Do you need a visa to get into Georgia?
Not for you. No. There are some countries, they need the visa, but the people from the United States or from Europe, they don't need the visa.
Okay. Well, I don't.
Yes.
Do you have anything else, Deb?
I can't think of it right now. Maybe in an hour I will when everything sinks in. But this has just been fantastic. I mean, this is a new grape for me.
And me,
yeah.
I
love learning about them.
In all honesty,
in all honesty,
so it is, as you already saw, it is a drop. It is the drop of global. When we are speaking about globally, okay, it is the drop of production. Let's say like that. So it is a really, really, really unique grape variety, and I believe that sooner or later, wine lovers can have possibilities to have these wines in your country.
Well, we will be keeping an eye out
Yes.
for when we can, and I will be searching on all of the websites to see if there's anywhere we can find one, because
Exactly.
it's incredible. It just sounds amazing. So, but I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and to, oh my gosh,
My
make that
pleasure.
presentation.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
Thank you
So-
very much. It was my pleasure. I want to use this opportunity to invite you in Georgia, and we will be more than happy. Sophie and I will be more than happy to host you in our company.
All right. Girls trip,
Thank
Deb.
you. Yeah, girls trip.
Well, thank you so much. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
So, wait a
Thank
second.
you so
Where
much.
can we find the winery online and information about
Oh, yeah.
about you online?
Yes. So the winery is called Winery Khareba, and the website is www.winerykhareba.com. So you can reach us on that website as well. So again, I am very active on social medias like LinkedIn and Facebook or Instagram. So the people can reach me easily as well. Sometimes, not sometimes, Sophie can confirm, very frequently I post some news about Georgian wine industry on LinkedIn. And if some people are interested in, they can follow me. That's it like that.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Leah, thank you for
Thank you.
organizing all of this. Greatly appreciated. And I was so looking forward to this to learn about, this grape that
I
don't
love
know.
learning new grapes. It's there's such a world of grapes that we don't know about it, and we need to expand our horizons.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just the history, it's just phenomenal. But thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lado and Sophie.
Goodbye.
Thanks.
Alrighty,
Bye.
thank you.
Ciao.
Bye.
Take care.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Tempranillo on the lovely Barolo.
This has been another episode of Exploring the Wine Glass. Thanks for listening. If you have suggestions on what topics you would like me to discuss, please reach out on social media. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as Exploring the Wine Glass. I am also on LinkedIn as Lori Hoyt-Budd. Of course, you can always email me at exploringthewineglass@gmail.com and sign up for my newsletter at exploringthewineglass.com. If you enjoyed what you heard, please rate, review, and subscribe to help others find me more easily. And most importantly, tell your wine-loving friends, because if you like the podcast, they will too. Podcast music is Wine by Kevins. Until next week, slancha.
No, never let you go. No, nice glass right now.